Welcome, Marketplace Ministry. This is Chaplain Anthony James coming to you live and direct, where healing takes place, where we talk about real talk, real life things. Just glad to be in the house once again, and the number once again. Ain't been on here in a little while. Just hope all is well in the land of the living. Just coming on here talking the real stuff. Talking about community awareness, community involvement, with all that's still going on in society, in our communities, with this election time really moving forward. Just, it's crazy. It's rhetoric to me, but hey, this is what it is. I know in my Bible that I read, and pretty much in anybody else's Bible, I hope, that it says pray for our leaders, and that's what we must do. So that's where I'm at with that. And so at the end of the day, want to make sure I, do the right thing and make sure that we are on the same page in that area, because we do, Bible says, we live in this world, but we're not of this world. So we still have to follow the rules and the regulations of what is passed down. So, just jumping right into the topic, and, the topic is, community awareness. We've been covering, basically my co-founder, Keith Henry. We're on actually Monday nights. We was on Tuesday nights together, but Monday nights now, and Saturday nights, me and him together. And then the rest of the time he's on his Instagram live, and I'm on mine's Instagram live the other remaining days, which that would be Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. But we took a little rest. We got so much content out there, but it's all good. But yeah, just covering becoming a parent partner. That's what we've been on. And it's been really, God has really been honing in on us. Excuse me. God's been honing in on us about putting pressure on us about talking about this, becoming parent partners, because it's so important. It's so imperative right now, because it's a lot of parents, a lot of single family homes, and it's really a strain on the family, let alone the kids. The kids have to deal with so much that they have not even asked for. And so I believe us as adults, us as parents, that's in situations like that. I'm in a situation like that. I made a decision to split, with my children's mother. And it's been tough. And I'm not going to say it's been easy. It's been tough. I thank God that, he has allowed me to overcome in that area of that, which by not living in the household with my children. And every day that goes by, just speaking from experience, it's been tough. I miss my children. I wish I can, say goodnight to them in person, which I communicate with them pretty much every day. But at the end of the day, it's not like being in the same household with them, or they being in the same household with you. And so I can speak to that, and I understand. And then for those men and women that's not in the same household with your children, I know it's tough. I know it's tough. And then the bottom line is it becomes like a tear. It becomes like a tear, because I just left New York not too long ago, and all my family's well, thank God. My mom, my dad, my children, my granddaughters in New York. And so the bottom line is, it's a wedge. Even though I know my daughters love me, I love them, but it's a distance. It's a distance type of love, and that's a tough kind of love. It's love, but it's just distance. It's not the way that I would want it to be, nor them, and they had no say in it. The children had no say in it. And so I'm on here talking about this is because that's how we live in when it comes down to becoming a parent partner. Parents have to really come together. I don't even know you broke up. I mean, at some point, the way society is now, the kids are being dealt so many different hands to where it's not conducive to their growth and development. And we wonder why they act out. We wonder why they don't listen. We wonder why they're discouraged. That's the main reason, and that's why we're talking about this through Marketplace Ministry, because it's really tough for these kids to handle. And so us as parents, us as mature parents, even the split with the relationship, we have to work extra hard to help the kids, understand, and not even so much, understand, but they may never understand, because I'm still baffled with it. So I know my children are baffled with it, but we just have to make sure that we come together as parent partners to become parent partners, so that way we can be on the same page and the kids can see like both parents love them. You know what I mean? Not one love more than the other, but both parents love them. And there's some situations where you have parents that showing these kids that they love them more than the other parent that's not there. And that's not fair, and it's messed up, and the kids are gonna get badly beaten over the head because of that. And I'm hoping and praying that, some of us parents, well, most of us parents that listens to this Marketplace Ministry when we come on, because we've been covering this parent partnership for a while now, and I don't know who's getting it. I hope you are, because God really put it on my heart. Marketplace Ministry, I'm the founder, to put the real talk out there. My slogan is real talk, and this is real talk. Community awareness. This is part of the community awareness. It ain't just outside of them streets. It's in the household. And so you have to confront the household stuff first before you can go out in the street. Because if you don't confront the household stuff, man, then I don't know how you living not good. And then your household is going to suffer, and I'm gonna just say a lot of the single parent households, a lot of the single women that have access to the kids way more than the father has, it's really a tough situation on some fathers. Some fathers go through a lot of drama dealing with some of the mothers of the children, and we have to stop. We have to grow up. It's not about you. It's about the family structure. Even though you at once upon a time, I believe, two people that were together, they loved one another, and a child was conceived in love, and then after that, the split came. Okay. And that's common. It happens. But I'm just saying what needs to stop happening, we need to get more grip on. We need to show these kids that we love them. And both parties, the mother and the father, regardless of who's in the household more with the child than the other one. And so I think that's a mega problem, even with this child support system. The child support system is set up. It was designed. Hopefully, I would like to think that it was designed to really help the child that was in need of welfare. But it got out of control. It's been out of control. I'm 55 years old. It's been out of control for a long time. For a long time. And so at the end of the day, the system gets kickbacks from that. The system gets, monies from that as well. And so, it's become a money situation, to the point where, my thing is they want the father or who's ever the non-custodial parent, which is the parent that's not living in the house with the child, or the child living in the house with the parent. They're called the non-custodial. The parent that the child is living with is called the custodial. So my thing is, if you put a mandate or a subpoena out to the parent that's not in the household with that child, which in most cases is the father, when you put a subpoena out, the subpoena is not it's not a subpoena that you would say, well, okay, wow, they're concerned about my child. No, it seems like they're concerned more about punishing you for what you are not doing, which if it comes down to that, I think the men should do better. But the subpoena states that if you don't show up in court for that subpoena, then you will be arrested. You will be whatever. And that, to me, that's kind of crazy, because I look at it like this, as not just the welfare of the child. What about the well-being? send that same subpoena out to the fathers or to the parent that's not in the house as the custodial, parent. Send that same subpoena out stating that we need you to show up for that child's well-being, just as for that child's welfare. But no, they're just honing in on the welfare part of it because it's about money. It's about finances. And we know the children need money to survive. Other parent needs help, this, that, and the third. But we're not mature enough to communicate with each other to say, well, you know what, this is what this child needs. How can we make this happen? This is what I'm gonna need. This is, can you help? Like adults, you know what I'm saying? Can you help bring this to the table so that way this child can be dealt with in a fair way? There's not really conversations of that because you have the two parents feuding and fighting over whatever they fighting for. So the kid is stuck in the middle. So again, it's been such a real problem with, I know a lot of men that can't get licensed because of child support. They can't get a passport because of child support. It's a lot of things going on that's unfair. And I say unfair because how can you take a person's license when you know that's their livelihood to get back and forth to work and different things of that nature when, you don't come at the parent for not being there for their child, like, for instance, well-being, making sure that child's health is intact. You know what I mean? There's none of that is being spoken about. You know what I mean? As far as medical insurance and different things, that's part of welfare. But then the mental health part of a child. What about that? What about the child not being in that father's life, or the father's not being in that child's life, where most of the time the mother is in that child's life and the mother is doing all the training. And so what happens is the training comes from the mom's side more than the father's side. And then now we have a lot of things that, what's going on, my brother? What's going on, Dex? Everything is good, man. Glad to see you on this line, man. Just talking some real stuff, man. But about this, parent partnership, man. We're talking about, the welfare and the well-being of the child. And it's a real topic that people don't discuss. We don't hear this topic. We hear everything about child support, and we don't know the ins and outs of what really goes on. You don't really get to hear the side of the father. You get to hear father's a deadbeat. Oh, he's a no good father. He doesn't care for his child. He doesn't. No, that's a lie. That's a lie. And whoever put that lie in, and that's when Satan steps in. Satan steps into that lie and says, okay, let's run with this lie. And so a lot of times the men don't have, they don't even, if you don't have any money for a lawyer, they don't give you a court-appointed lawyer to fight this like they give the woman with the child. They give the woman with the child a law guardian. So they are protected. They have law to help them. And it's not fair. It should be, the men should have access to some type of representation so that way they can fight better for their children. Because it's a lot of men that want to fight for their children. It's a lot of men that are willing to fight, but they don't know how to fight. And I'm just saying, and taking it from a person that's been in the court system dealing with this stuff, countless of times, it was a wonder. I had a lot of people tell me, my own son told me, that dad, I don't know how you came through that, man, because I remember when things was happening to you and I had no control over to help you, but at the end of the day, how did you deal with all of that? And I said, you know what? I dealt with it because I really cared about my kids and I really wanted to be a part of my kids' life, even though the system made it tough for me to be a part of my kids' life because of the rules and regulations the stipulations that they have. I had to go over and beyond. I had to go to God, to be honest with you. I'm going to tell you what helped me. I went to God to help me have peace and to help me understand that, there's ways that I can fight. And so I went to the system, and I'm telling you, men that's under the sound of my voice, you have to go to the system and fight within the system for your rights, because we all have rights. And so I went and I put in a petition for joint custody, visitation, residential with mom. Knowing that the child was going to be living with the mother, I still put a petition in to have joint custody and also, pretty much the bottom line is I had to do it that way because you have to, the Bible says, render due what seasons. That means whatever law was passed, if you fall under that law, you get into a situation, I fell under that law. So therefore I had to go fight for my rights. And I did. And I went and visitation, joint custody, residential with mom, but it gave me joint custody, which me and the parent have the same custody, as well as, being able to see my child, visitation rights. And that came through a petition that I petitioned. So now the mother who has to be subpoenaed to court to hear that right that I had, that petition that I put in. And it wasn't to go fight the court. I didn't go to fight the court. I went to state my claim, you know what I'm saying, as a father, you know what I mean? And most men, we get it twisted. The law is there. Until a law changes, you have to abide by that law. And that's what I'm trying to tell the men, because a lot of men are very angry. They're very upset. They're getting their money took. They can't see their kids. And I don't care. I don't care if you owe the court $50,000, $100,000, which I know some men do. And they feel they can't see their kids. Some men owe probably $1,000. That's not a lot of money, but the court, that's not the system. The women be making them think that you can't see your child because you owe me child support. And that's the problem. That it's not true. As long as you are that biological father and you can prove that you're that biological father, you can change that. You know what I'm saying? You can change that. That could be changed around. So, but you have to go to the court. You can't not go to the court. You made a child and you can't say, oh man, I'm all right, whatever. I ain't going to see my child. Now you're hurting the child. Whereas before, the mother is hurting the child by not allowing you to see the child. But then if you fall victim to that and you stay away, then you are hurting the child too. Bad enough that you split. The split came. That hurt the child from number one. But then now when you don't want to go to the court and confront the issue, now you're really hurting your child. And if you don't want to hurt your child, go see about your child. You know what I mean? Go petition. And the courts will grant you that. That's the law. Like they got laws, they have to follow their own laws too. With some, they don't follow laws because we don't follow up. And if we don't follow up, then they can say, well, father don't care. He ain't coming. Boom. Case dismissed. Awarded to the women. Now, your child, you may not see your child in I don't know how long. I didn't play that game. Even when the women of my children, you know what I'm saying, they tried to stop me from seeing my kids, man, that was like a dagger in my heart. And man, I wasn't having it. And I'm telling you, men, take heed to what I'm saying. You can't have that because you owe it to that child to be there in that child's life, whether it's financially or just moral support. You have to go. You have to go. Stop not going to the courts. Stop doing that because that's where the problem keeps growing and growing and growing and growing. And then it just shows like you don't care about. And what you think the child, forget about the system, forget about the woman. What about that child? You want that child to know that you are there to fight for them, whatever. In any kind of weather, any kind of situation, that child needs to know that their father loves them enough to fight for them, to fight for the right to see them and to be involved in their life. And it's a big situation going on right now. Oh, it's a big deal. Oh, they take income tax checks. Oh, these women, I know some women, man, I'm just going to keep it real. I know some women that, man, they glorify in taking a man's check and taking a man's social, whatever he has financially to take care of that child, which I understand a man's supposed to take care of his responsibilities. But if you take all the man has, which the system does, the system does not, give any leadway when it comes down to that. Once they put that demand of order that you have to come to court and pay, if you don't, they're locking you up. So what is locking up doing? That's nothing. Most child support cases that I know of, I thank God it didn't happen to me because I didn't play that game. I knew my rights in that area. And even if I didn't know, I learned my rights. But by going down there, you can't learn something if you don't attach yourself. It's like Google. If you don't pull up Google, you don't pull up information, you'll never get to know what it is about. And so based on that, the system, and man, it does different things to the point where it's gonna have you going crazy. You know what I mean? To the point where it's now you doing more harm than good. Whereas your child is actually wanting to see you, and then you're getting attitudes like, whatever, it's about the woman. No, listen, if you separated from that woman, if y'all can't get along for the betterment of that child, then leave that alone. Then you have to go another route. Men, I'm saying this because we always hone in. I hear men always honing in on, the woman, she's stopping me from seeing my kids. And no, you're stopping you from seeing your kids. You cannot blame the woman, because at the end of the day, you have to don't blame, matter of fact, don't blame nothing. Just go see about your child. There's a court system that's in place. Google that address. You know what I'm saying? Google, things that you need to Google that's going to make some sense that you can help out your situation. It's a hard pill to swallow, and to get into a relationship with someone that you once cared about, and then something happened and you split up, and then now you're not together no more. So now the kid is like the pawn in the middle being played. Put yourself in that kid's situation just for a second, man. Just say, wow, man, wow. And maybe some of you was in that situation. But if it hurt that bad, learn how to fight. Tap into Marketplace Ministry. DM me. Talk to me. You can holler at me. Ask me some questions. I'll tell you what I did to stay in my children's lives, you know what I'm saying, and to be a part of their life. Even when sometimes the mother didn't want me because she was to be in their lives, she was pissed off. You know what I mean? She was pissed off. And yeah, public assistance. That's another situation. You know what I mean? When a woman is on public assistance, automatically they kick in and come after the man. Even though the courts is, what I don't like about that is public assistance, they don't notify you right away. They allow that woman to be on public assistance for whatever. Then when you owe so much money, when they figure they've been helping this child out and that woman out for maybe, I know women that's been on there for 10, 15, 20 years. And they never told the man, they never told the system, this is where the system is wrong at. That's why laws have to change. The system never told the parent at some point, and then some have, but for the most part, the men don't even know these women are on social service. But I'm going to be honest with you. When it hits to the point where you owe so much money, man, they're going to come after you. And all what they gave that woman for that child, that's coming out of your pocket. They're going to take that money out of your pocket. And to me, I don't think that's fair. I think it should be a mediator. I think if the woman goes to social service for help, for financial help, and for whatever they get from the system, whether it be food stamps, whatever, they should notify the father. And I'm going to be honest with you. I've seen some cases where the father moves around so much, they don't never get that mail. And then some do. So still we're talking about it's a mess here. This is a mess. But I'm saying that's why God told me to come at this topic, becoming a parent partner. I don't care what the system is doing. You should be man enough or willing enough, or just like the women. I'm just going to put it on the man, but the women, they have the issues. If somebody's getting money from you and they taking money from you, man, chances are that woman that don't like you, she ain't going to start liking you because you coming back to her and saying, let's work this out. She's figuring, the system is taking your money. So now shut up. Get out of here. I don't want to hear that no more. And then the child is getting beat up. The women don't understand how the beating that they're putting on their own child by rendering services from that man, but through a point where they're not receiving, they're taking things from the men, such as income tax, such as when the stimulus Cats was telling me, chaplain, man, they took my whole stimulus check, man. They took my whole income tax. How you going to take somebody's whole income tax? What? How? They do it. Did it to me. I had mine took for almost 15 to 18 years. Because I owed a certain amount of money. I got sick though, and I couldn't pay. Instead of them freezing it and saying, yo, pay what you can pay until you get better. Nah, they didn't do that. So they're not fair. They're not fair at all. That's why you have to fight. You have to go about, and I'm telling you, it's some men right now, they already know. Man, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. It's real embarrassing, and I get it. But at the end of the day, man, we can't sit back on the sideline and continue to take this abuse. We have to fight. And you have to fight the good fight. That means fighting, knowing your rights, knowing what you can do and what you can't do and what you should do. You know what I mean? We have to get to that point. We cannot continue to sit on the sideline and watch our kids grow up without you. Because chances are they growing up learning different things that you have not even taught them. And then when you see them doing certain things and acting out, what can you say? You didn't fight for them. You didn't fight for them. So I'm not going to put the blame all on the woman. I'm gonna place blame on the father as well, because it takes two. It took two to lay down and have that baby. So now it takes two to take care of that baby. By any means, and I ain't saying go rob and steal neither. You don't have to do that. You know what I mean? Just find ways to make sure that child is okay. Whether it be the welfare and the well-being. You can't leave one without the other. And so that's why I say the system is foul, because they'll come at you for the welfare, but they won't come at you for the well-being. They'll come and threaten you to lock you up if you don't pay no money, but they won't force you. They force you to pay money. So why don't they force you to be in that child's life with visitation rights? That's my thing. If you forcing me to pay a certain amount of money, why don't you come at me with being in my child's life? See, that's where the problem is at. That's where I believe God is saying, no, it's a one-sided situation here. So that's why I'm talking about this the way I'm talking about it, because y'all need to make sure the men need to be in these children's lives, because you got other men coming in their lives. You don't know who they in their lives. You got women coming. You don't know who's in your child's life, speaking into their life. You don't know what's being said, what's being done to them, because you're not there. You're not there. But your money's there. If they taking your money or you paying child support on your own, your money is there, but you're not there. That's a cold piece right there. You know what I'm saying? I'm not living like that. I'm not going to be taking care of my child, financially, and then I can't speak into my child's life. I have no correspondence with my child, because the woman is controlling. You got some of these women don't even let these men call their children. They block their numbers. They make the kid, and it's a sad situation, because this is why we're having all these killings and all. Who you think is out there doing all this killing and gangbanging? Who you think? It's these single parent homes. For the most part, when I was growing up, we had 2 family homes, a mother and a father. And it was structured, where you couldn't do certain things. We did crazy things, but it's not like now. When you got one person speaking into somebody's life, like the father's dead, but his money ain't dead. You make sure you get his money, whether you take it or he give it. But then the moral support, you don't care about that from him, because you angry at him, because the woman is upset at the man. So now you shut the kid off. Wow. To me, that's genocide. And I'm telling you, you reap what you sow. And so I'm saying to you women as well, yo, get your knee off the neck of these men. Get your knee off the neck of these men, because that's what the system is allotting you to do. So you're no different than the average person that's killing out in the street. Basically, you killing relationships. You cutting off relationships because you're angry at the man. I don't care what that man done to you. That has nothing to do with your child, period. Now, if he molested you or that child, then I understand. But if y'all had a breakdown, a breakup situation where you couldn't get along, that man should be in that child's life. You should be wanting that man to be in that child's life. There's no way you should keep that child that man out of that child's life just because you're angry and you're disgruntled and you're mad. You're angry. Nah, this is my child. I hear women say, this is my baby. No, without that man, you wouldn't have a child. But because you're so complacent and so disgruntled and so malice in your heart, you can't see fit to let that man help you raise that child. And then some of these women get so caught up with, oh, the system, ooh, I'm getting his whole income tax check. So you bank off of that. Year in, year out. But let me say this to you. You storing up something that you don't even understand. You sowing something that you don't even understand when you get ready to reap it. I'm telling you, because if you heard, the Bible says, if you harm the very hairs of my children, which is my kids, which I know I'm a child of God, but he's talking about the babies as well. The ones that can't fend for themselves. They don't have a voice yet. And you're making sure you hurt the person that they love. Understand that. Hear me. Hear me, women. Hear me clearly. When you hurt the person that your child loves, man, do you understand what you're doing to that child? Do you understand? You hurting them. You sticking them right in their heart slow. You putting the dagger in them. It ain't so much of the man. I know you can't keep talking about the man ain't this, the man ain't that. Oh, he's a bum. He's a dope deadbeat dad. Man, a lot of these men we love hard, man. I'm talking about especially black African-American males. We love our children. And the stigma has been on us for such a long time, making us look. And I beg to differ. I'm going to say this. It's some men that don't take care of their children. I don't know what they're dealing with. I ain't talking about them. I'm talking about the ones that really love their children and they would do anything for their children, but the system and you are stopping them. You can't stop me. Couldn't stop me. Oh, they tried. I had women in my life that tried to stop me. And I ain't saying I'm perfect, but I'm a good man. I'm a good father. And I know it's a lot of good men and good fathers out there. And I'm standing up for them right now. You understand what I'm saying? Because I hear a lot of men talk to me. I'm a chaplain in the prison system. I'm a chaplain outside. I talk to a lot of men and they tell me, yo, chap, what's going on, man? Yo, I can't see my kid. Yo, man, I'm hurting, man. Like, I don't know what to do. And I'm trying to walk them through this thing. And I said, keep the pressure on seeing your child because that's you. That's your seed. And I'm telling you, God says if a person doesn't take care of their children, you're less than an infidel. That's not a good thing. So I submit to you, who's under the sound of my voice. Any male influences, man, if you know somebody, man, tell them, help them. If you really real, are you your brother's keeper? Really? I am. So men, please hear me out. As we continue to get on this Instagram live, I'm about to start a podcast. We're about to make this thing happen. We're about to continue to put this word out here for these men. It's time we need to help each other. Stop talking about each other. Stop stomping each other in the ground. We need to lift each other up. That's what this is about. That's what Marketplace Ministry is about. Marketplace Ministry ain't about coming on here talking yada, 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 talking dumbness and foolishness. We ain't about that life. We're about uplifting, encouraging, empowering each other so we can do better in society. We're getting beat down. Ain't y'all tired of that? We getting beat down because we beat ourselves down. And we have to stop beating ourselves and start lifting ourselves and lifting others up. Right in your living room. Right in your home. That's where it starts at. It doesn't start out in the street. It doesn't start in the church that you go to. It doesn't start at your workplace. It starts in your home. That's where it starts. And so at the end of the day, we have to come together and say, yo, enough is enough. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of the rhetoric. I'm tired of the lies that I bring to the table. Once you get with yourself and stop looking outside of yourself to help yourself, and then God will send help. That's how it works. And I'm living proof of that. I'm living proof. And this is serious. This is a serious topic. This is nothing. This is not nothing to play with. These kids every day, every second, every minute, every hour, every month, day, week, month, year, they live in fear of not knowing their dad or not being a part of their father's life, or their father don't care about them. Or my dad, he's a dead. I heard my mama say my dad, he's a deadbeat dad. He's a no good person. These kids don't need to keep hearing that crap. And these women, I'm telling you, I don't oppose no threat to anybody, but if you know the Lord, if you know anything about God and his word, he says you reap what you sow. And I'm telling y'all better stop sowing this craziness into these children's lives, because these children are going to grow up to hate you too. You don't see that now, but they see it. They see every day. Oh, every now and then, just go check in your child's room and see what they really crying about. See what they really crying about. They want their daddy, man. Period. They want their daddy. And some of these men, they want to fight, but they don't know how to fight. They dealing with stuff too, because that probably happened to them in their life. So now they grew up, now they got kids, which they should not want that to happen, but they don't know how to deal with that. So I'm saying tap into Marketplace Ministry. If that's you who I'm talking about, you understand, DM me. Talk to me. I'll talk back to you. You know what I'm saying? I'll listen to what you got to say, but I'm going to give you the way how to do it. And once I give you the way how to do it, like I'm giving you instructions now, take the instructions. Like I have to take instructions from the truth. God gives me instructions through other people. And if it's truth, I'm going to walk with it. If I don't know it and I ain't doing it and somebody else is doing it, I'm going to receive it and do it the best that I can. That's all you can do, the best that you can. But don't do nothing. Don't sit on the sidelines and do nothing, because nothing from nothing leaves nothing. So if that's who you are and where you sit right now, I never sat where you sit when it comes down to not doing for my kids. Never. Anybody that know me, man, not even anybody, my kids will tell you that my dad, I don't care what was going on, that dude, I always can reach my daddy. I always leave a line of communication open. Not just hearing, talking. If I can help them, I'm going to help them financially, emotionally, spiritually. We as men, God placed us in this earth for a reason. Before he gave us woman, before God gave man a woman, he gave us responsibility. Even in the garden before Eve came, Adam had responsibility. Adam had to be responsible. God has made men, builders, master builders. I listened to that message from my man T.D. Jakes, man. Powerful man of God. Listen, that's one of my mentors. He don't know it, but he will know it. God said, I'm going to see him, because, we got work to do. And so the bottom line is, master builder, man, you have to continue to build. We're builders. God is the architect. He designed the house for us, but we have to build it. He's not going to build our house for us. So if you're struggling in that area of building, man, wake up. Work with what you got in your hand already. Stop trying to get something that you don't have. Work with what you got, and God will add on to it. He'll send people in your life to help you build. Once he sees you serious about building, he'll help you. And you'll make some mistakes along the way. Everybody does. But brush yourself off. Dust yourself off and keep it moving. First of all, you have to learn how to have an attitude of gratitude. You have to get up and say, Lord, thank you for waking me up this morning. Thank you for keeping me in my right mind. Thank you for allowing me to have the peace and the joy. See, that's where it comes from too. A lot of men don't know how to help their children because they're angry, they're disgruntled, they don't have any peace, they have no joy. The joy of the Lord is my strength. I get my strength from God every day, tapping into that spiritual realm where now whatever comes, it won't overcome. It won't overcome. And so as I continue to walk forth and walk through this life, this arena called life, man, we're going to have things that come in our way to test us. But God is the test. He doesn't tempt us. Satan does. But I don't even like to even use Satan a lot. I like to use us because we are our worst enemy. Enemy is enemy. Enemy is in you. Satan has no power. He's been stripped. Jesus stripped him when he died on the cross, when he took all the sins away. He went to hell. He was there for 3 days. He was risen on the third day. He snatched the keys from Satan. He said, death, where's your sting? So Satan had to be gone. The death had to move from God. So he said in Genesis 1:26, we were made in God's image and his likeness. So when we say Satan move, Satan has to move. When we denounce Satan, when we resist Satan, he has to flee. So Satan can't live in my house because I'm there. I'm the head. I'm not the tail. I'm above, never again beneath. But you got to know that. We got to know that. And so this is marketplace ministry. This ain't about just marketplace. This is ministry first. God has given me this platform to walk out in this earth. And I'm so honored and I'm so pleased with it. You know what I mean? Because I got men that's waking up. I got sleeping giants. You know, as I was asleep one time. I'm woke now. I'm woke now. I'm awake. And I'm trying to wake up other men. Like, yo, let's go. Even if you awake, we have to wake other men up. Just like God told Peter. Peter, when you are strengthened, strengthen your brothers, your brethren. Strengthen them. Just because you are strengthened, that means you have to strengthen others. Just because God blessed you, you have to be a blessing now. Once he blessed you, now you have to be that blessing. And that's what a lot of us don't do. You got a handful. I'm saying a handful because my community is busted wide open. You go in any community, in a black community in neighborhoods, we're not flourishing. We're being beat down because we beat ourselves down. We don't have any, we don't, you know, talk good. We don't enhance ourselves. We don't give ourselves affirmation. So therefore we don't receive affirmation from people. And a lot of men don't even talk good to themselves. I can attest to this. I know some men don't even look in the mirror. They don't like what they see. I used to be there. I used to be one of them. I love me today. You know what I mean? And me loving me, first I love Christ. And I love me second. I can't love outside of me first. I have to love me first. Because if I don't love me first, I can't love nobody else. Let's get that straight. I hear a lot of people loosely, oh, I love you. Oh. Man, be quiet with all that. You don't even love yourself. Get to loving yourself first. Dine yourself. I'm talking about the single men, married men, but I'm talking about the men that separated from their kids. If you don't love yourself, you don't love your child. Come on now. Let's be real. Let's keep this thing real. As you say, 100. If you can't love you, how you going to love your child? That's why you will leave your child. Because you don't really love you, so you can't love them. You don't know how to. Start dating yourself. Start spending time with yourself. Start praying more. Start talking to God more. Even though you don't see God, ask God to reveal himself to you and watch what he does because he's waiting on you. It ain't no more we waiting on God. No, God is waiting on you. God is waiting on you. He done his work is finished. God's work is finished. It's up to us to receive his word and move on it as you can. It takes time. It takes time. As long as you're on the earth, man, you got time because we are on borrowed time. You don't know when it's your time. The Bible says this. It says live today as if it was your last. You have to start living your days like it's your last, like, you know, meaning that, yo, I'm good. I don't have to have all the money in the world. I don't have to have the biggest house or the biggest car or the this, that, and the third to be happy. I'm good where I'm at right now. Oh, I know God is moving me, but I ain't on no materialistic stuff. I'm on the essential things, the inside. I'm on my health is my wealth. My mental health is my wealth. My spiritual connection with God is my wealth. That's my wealth. I'm not on this stuff that they keep putting out here on television. You turn on the TV, you got the new Tesla, you got this and you got that. Oh, I want that. Come on, man. You got a car already. Learn how to be happy and be content with what you have. Let's stop this craziness. That's why these kids want certain things that they can't even afford, because the parents are out of control. Because we teaching that to them. They see us. Oh man, well I want this money. Come on, man. When we gonna grow up and stop facading and living a lie? Let's start living truth. Every day we wake up, we thanking God for our existence, and let's stop existing. Let's start living. That's two different things. Existing and living is two different things. Living is just acknowledging who you are and what you can do, and you're happy with yourself. Existing is just sitting on like a bump on the log. Woe is me. Oh, ain't nothing happening good for me. The world, da, da, da. That's existing. Start living. Start giving yourself affirmation. You know what I mean? Yeah, I am blessed to be a blessing. Even if you don't think you are, even if you don't have financially, start speaking things into your life that's going to change. Because when you speak that negative, that's why it keeps being negative, because you keep speaking, you keep responding to what you speak. So as long as you keep responding what you speak, that's what you're going to have. Soon as you say, oh man, I ain't got this. Oh, that's what's getting ready to come. You ain't got that. But as soon as you start speaking things as though they be not, that they were, you start speaking it to into existence. It starts coming your way. Opportunities start coming. Just like, with the parent partner. Start speaking that me and my baby's mama, we are friends. We can do the right thing for our child. We can help each other out to raise our children. Start speaking those things and watch what God does. That's what God is waiting on. God is tired of, oh man, she ain't let me see my kid. She keep disrespect. That's what you keep getting. Because you keep speaking that thing into existence. Trust God at his word. Say she is blessed. Stop disrespecting your baby's mama. Because if you disrespect her, you just disrespecting yourself. Because you laid with her once upon a time. Vice versa, just like the women. The women disrespecting the men that they had children with. You disrespecting yourself because you laid with him. You laid with him. Yeah. So until we change our way of talking and our way of looking, see, a lot of times we're looking with the natural eyes. You have to go into the spiritual eyes. God's way of looking at things. And you can't keep listening just with the ears of your head. You have to learn how to listen with the ears of your heart. That's where we missing. Everything that come on, everything move, we moving with it like chameleons. Stop it. Sit down. Shut up sometime. Start talking right. Stop talking wrong so much. Stop talking whatever you're talking about that's negative. Start talking positive. Because it's based on what you're listening to, what you're watching, what comes out of your mouth. Because these are gates, eye gates, ear gates, and then whatever you hear, whatever you see is coming out your mouth. And whatever that comes out your mouth, you sowing it into the earth. And then it's always gonna have a boomerang effect. When you speak it, it's coming back to you. And if it's negative, guess what's coming back? Negative. If it's positive, let the positive come back. But if you keep speaking negative, that's what you're going to get. That's what you're going to get. So let's start saying our children are blessed. The women of my children are blessed. Women, the men of my child is blessed. Because once upon a time, I don't care, people on the sound of my voice, if you got a man or a woman that you had children with, you spoke highly of them at once before. And whatever happened between your relationship, now you disrespectful now to that person. And that's what you keep seeing, what you're saying. You are seeing what you're saying. So let's change that, people. Let's start talking right about our children's father or mothers. Talk about the men too, because the men, y'all be dogging these women out. And you laid with them. So when you dogging them out, guess why your life is raggedy? Because you dogging them out, because that's God is saying it's like a boomerang. You're being dogged out too. So let's watch what we say out of our mouths. Because this is that tongue, man. Woo, man. It's life and death. The power of the tongue. You speak life or you speak death. So we have to understand, let's stop speaking death and let's start speaking life. So that's what we need to start making happen, people. So let's go. Let's stop it. Let's grow up. This is about growing up now. This is about maturing. This is about allowing yourself to grow so that way your kid can have a father, a daddy, a man, not a boy. And some of this stuff is happening too because I hear a lot of men talking about they want to be in their child's life, but they children. The Bible says when I was a child, I spoke as a child. But when I grew up, I had to put childish things away. So are you children? Is that the problem? Is that really the problem? You can't deal with that child because you are a child? Whew, wow. Man. Thank you, Holy Spirit. That God just dropped that in my spirit. He said, nah, tell them to grow up. Tell them to grow up. And then maybe they'll start seeing differently. Start growing up, man. Start growing up. Stop whining. Stop whining. It's time to grow up as men. Become a man. Because if really, to be honest with you, God is probably saying, you know, man, and the reason why you having a hard time because you're a child. You whining. You want a bottle. You need to be changed. That's what God is saying through me. He's saying, stop it, boys. Grow up, men. Because see, now you are being charged as a man because you are a man in society. But in a relationship or with what you're dealing with, you're a boy. I know it's tight, but it's right. Oh, that was my problem. That was my problem. Let me keep it clean. Let me keep it real. That was one of my problems. I had to grow up. I couldn't keep living like talking about I want to do this and do that and do it. Nah, I was a boy. Good. So at the end of the day, you know, you have to understand that we have to grow up as men. We have to become men because, like I said in the beginning, God gave men responsibility before he gave us a woman. So now he gave us the woman to multiply, replenish, and subdue the earth. So we still walking around, I want my bottle. I got to pay these bills. Man, listen, that's why you're going through the problems that you're going through. Put that bottle down. Even if you got to drink out of a sippy cup, start all over again. Come on, it's real. It's right. I'm talking right. I know I am. Because God is having me, he's putting me out here like this. And I ain't listen. God put me out here, man. I'm going. It don't matter. So I'm saying, listen, man. Get up off that boy. Because boys can't make it happen. Men can. Boys can't do it. Men can. And we have to step up. And so, yo, you know, again, I appreciate y'all coming on here tonight. You know what I mean? This is what we do on Marketplace Ministry. This is how it is. You know, I'm going to have some special guests coming through soon. But at the end of the day, when I get on here, I'm keeping it 1,000. Because at the end of the day, I'm being charged by God. And I'm not going to be charged in the wrong way. I want God to say, good and faithful servant. If I die tonight, I believe with long life shall he satisfy me with. I want him to say good and well, faithful servant, because you did what I asked you to do. I'm trying to help whoever I can help and whenever I can help. And so at the end of the day, I want y'all to going into this week, you know what I mean? Your work week, different things you got to handle this week. Go into it with a peaceful mindset. Whatever's bothering you, whatever's hindering you, ask God to intervene in your life. Don't talk about nobody else's life. Ask God to come into your heart. Ask God to ease your thinking, help you change the way you think. He'll give you some instructions to do. Because see, God ain't going to do nothing for you. You got to do it. Like I begin to say, he's an architect. He designed things. He doesn't do it for you. You have to do it. But he gives you what to do. And if you listen to what I'm saying with the ears of your heart, then you will take heed to what I'm saying tonight. It ain't about pointing the fingers. It's about taking heed to when the truth comes. You have to act on the truth and allow God to, add to that truth in you. And it's not going to happen all at once. It happens in stages of your life. But if you can start with just forgiving yourself, men, please, women, forgive yourself. God has already forgiven you. He's already threw it in the sea of forgetfulness. We the ones that keep grabbing it. We have to start forgiving ourselves and start moving on. That's the only way things are going to change. Change ain't change until you change. Change ain't change until you change. Not the Y-O-U, the letter U. That means you. That means me. Until you change, it's not going to change. So it's all good. You know what I mean? It's time to really tap into this, what God is saying and God is doing. A lot of people saying, yo, chap, you on here for a whole hour. This is an hour of power. This is what this is. Ain't nothing, man, listen. It's power packed from start to finish because it's real talk. It's something that's needed. It's something that the households, inside the households need. We need this in our spirit. We have to walk and talk with this every single day. I live this every day. I don't just get on here. Nah, my life, man, I get off of here, man. I'm a fold. I got clothes to fold. You know what I'm saying? I'm responsible. My work week is coming up this week. I'm getting ready for my work week. You know what I mean? This is part of my job too. This social media. I'm putting this work in, and at the end of the day, I think I'm honored and I'm pleased that God chose me to do so. Because I wouldn't be on here for nothing. Nah, I ain't on here entertaining anything. I'm on here trying to put a word out there, to put some instructions out there as I do it, though. I don't just talk one thing. I do what I talk. So as I'm talking, I'm doing at the same time. So that's why I can be, explosive in what I do, because I'm doing this. I'm not just talking, and I'm being about this. And so again, I appreciate y'all coming on. Dex, you stay in contact with me, my brother. God got some great things for you, man. I see you, man. He knows your heart, man. He knows what you want to do, man. And so this is the way to go, my brother. This is it right here. You got to put this message out there, man, because God is going to use who want to be used, period. If you don't want to be used, God ain't going to beg nobody to do nothing. And he ain't got to beg me. He just said, do what you need to. Go ahead, chap. Okay, thank you. I'm excited. All right, God, I heard you, So at the end of the day, it's all good. But again, I appreciate y'all coming on. I'm like I said, we're on tomorrow night. Me and my co-founder, Keith Henry, just talking about this, becoming parent partners, community, involvement, community. We just about community. And without unity, there's no community at all. We have to become unified as a people. And once we begin to do that, God will put, his super on our natural ability, and it becomes a supernatural experience. And so that's what we need. We want God to really crash in on what we're doing, so that way he can be glorified as we be edified. And in that, I'm signing off until tomorrow. Peace. Got a couple more seconds going. I finished before my time, but it's all good, But again, keep following us, DM us. Anything you need, prayers, you need requests, we'll make it happen. All right.